I'm Nick Hernandez, and you're listening to the Positivity Matters podcast. We focus on well being, look at it from every angle, from within, from without. And today I have a entrepreneur, works with entrepreneurs, Grant Stonebraker. He is the author of Rule 355, and we will unpack that here shortly. Grant, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Nick. I'm super excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. And we recently met at the premiere showing of Look Like Somebody. So I think we're on a journey. Who knows where it will go, but whatever it is, it feels like it's kind of awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited. That documentary is amazing. It was super fun, great high energy in the room, and yeah, it was just cool people surrounding a really cool movement.
Ricky C. Simmons, Fallen Giant Films. It's a really incredible sense of community that's exciting to be a part of. So tell me about your journey and how you came to center around the values of honesty, kindness, and progress.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in a Christian cult. At the age of 18, I started to get away from it. I found myself in the party scene very quick, chasing women and alcohol, um, into my 20s. Around 25, my parents decided they didn't want to associate with me anymore because I wasn't practicing the religion. And I got into drugs pretty heavily. A lot of cocaine use, a lot of extra um, curricular drugs, recreational, just whatever I could do to get a high and just have a really good, fun time. And after about 10 years of partying, the crash was my fourth DUI, and I was looking at a felony conviction. Was not going to escape the felony this time, and I was sitting in jail for 93 days. The only way out of that was going to inpatient rehab. Once I got to rehab, I spent 36 days there at a facility in downtown Omaha. That was really good. I changed my mindset on a lot of things, gave me new hope. And I graduated with leadership from there after 36 days and went on to sober living. Lived in a 3/4 way house for 100 days. Had both an ankle monitor for GPS tracking and one for alcohol monitoring. So I had to plug myself into the wall every night in charge, which was a fun experience, something not most people get to go through. And did I got to go back home after I did that. Then about 3 months after being home, I finally got to my sentencing date. And originally, I was looking at 20 years in prison. And by the grace of God and a lot of hard work put in by myself and an amazing support system, I was able to earn 5 years of probation and 8-year license revocation. My parents did start to come around after my grandpa passed away in 2021, and that was briefly before my DUI, my fourth DUI. And so we have a great relationship now. I'm very grateful for that. And so that started to turn my life around. I realized I needed to live differently. Um, the friends that I was hanging out with were not conducive to the positive change of my future. They're great people. I have love for them and always will. It was just not healthy for me to remain in those environments. And so once I kind of started to get away from that, I changed my whole life and got myself in a good direction. I'm super thankful for probation. My my probation officer, Gladys Felix, she's a really amazing lady. She's given me a lot of good guidance. And had I not been on probation, I don't think I would be where I am today. So yeah, within the last couple of years, I've started a nonprofit, a couple businesses. Last year, I started a business called Stonebraker Home Solutions, built that up to a 7-figure business in 5 months. Had a lot of fun running just all the way with that. Did a little bit of a reset, let go of that business. Realized I learned a lot of really good lessons, some positive, some negative, and I decided to turn the negative into positive, figuring out how I could teach others the things that I learned. Because not a whole lot of people build seven-figure businesses ever in their life, let alone in that short of amount of time. And so just doing what I can to reciprocate that process for others and help streamline their business so they can grow to exponential heights with proper support. And I just have a lot of fun. I think it's important that we have joy doing what we do instead of, being so serious and analytical about it. It's good to smile and, you know, hug each other and just always be um, supporting. And so that's hard to do when you're on your own. And I've learned that many times when I've isolated myself. And so I just absolutely love just pouring into people, and I love doing it with entrepreneurs because I just love seeing them light up and see them get passionate about what they're doing with their lives. And obviously, it goes all the way from their internal personal development to their business development, and seeing their families' lives impacted in such positive ways. It's really fun.
Tell me a little bit about the journey into kindness and the nonprofit, and how kindness manifests in your life at present as a practice.
Yeah, that's a good one. I so honesty, kindness, progress are my core values, and kindness was the one that I was considering replacing. And I'd done a market survey with a few of my associates to see what their thoughts were, and like kindness was the one that everyone was actually drawn to. But I was, building, and that made sense for my nonprofit, because it was called Operation Pay It Forward, and what sparked the beginning of that was I had a lot of support when I was in rehab, and a lot of the rehab participants did not have as much support as I did, and I just felt called to somehow pay it forward to them, because when I was actually in jail, my friends put together a GoFundMe and raised half of my lawyer fees, so I was able to retain my lawyer. Shout out to Dino and Morgan. They made that happen, and it was absolutely amazing. Um, so I felt obliged to figure out a way to pay it forward to rehab participants. So what we did is we started a clothing drive, and we collected winter clothing and donated it to rehab facilities. It was a lot of fun, and so the kindness thing is just, I think you automatically have success if you operate from a place of kindness. I don't think it's possible to have a bad experience if you are operating with kindness 100% genuinely. If you come across someone that maybe is having a bad experience and you give them kindness, it's probably a very unexpected from them. And it might completely change their whole entire view of the day or the world. You never know what good can come of that. And if you're hanging out with other people that are kind, then you're just going to continue to boost each other up and see how you can spread positivity to the world.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing about that journey a bit. And that plays right into this idea of strengths. And thank you for playing along and trying the VIA survey of character strengths. Listeners, if you want to get a sense of your strengths, if that's not something you've experienced before, you can do this. It's through the University of Pennsylvania and the Values in Action Institute. It's viacharacter.org. Grant, I see yours came out as honesty, kindness, love, spirituality, and creativity. And the way that we experience those things may not be quite what's on the surface with the name given to those. Um, tell me, tell me how you experience those strengths through what you do. Kindness already well explained, but you can unpack that more too.
Yeah, honesty. I've learned through all my experiences that honesty is so crucial for success. If you're not thoroughly honest and open about what you think and how you feel, something is looming in the background and is ending up, it'll topple you over. I've learned it so many times myself. I've of course interacted with others that uh, things have happened not so great when not being honest. And it's something it's very difficult to do. I think our inner critic is often what gets us. We're fearful of others judging us and not accepting the truth of our internal thoughts or beliefs. And so we hide who we are and we hide the things that we've done, and it makes it very difficult to grow. But then we also don't attract the right people to us. So it's quite a caveat if you're not honest, because you're really hindering yourself. But it's difficult to be honest because we're not always fully confident in who we are. So I think the more you're confident in who you are, it's easier to be honest. Um, and so I'm fully transparent. I try and share exactly what my life looks like every single day on social media. I don't try and glorify it. I don't try and make it seem better than it is. I try and be very real. And that's something that's can be easy to do once you accept yourself. And you gotta let go of shame and all those things, of course, as well. And just really accept where you're at and be excited for the future. But it's important to love who you are today and make sure you're setting yourself up for future success as well. And I think it's easier to be honest when all those things are going that way. Um, as far as love, I try and operate with love in everything that I do. I think it's important to treat everyone the exact same. I used to, give favoritism to maybe a certain woman that I was interested in, put them on a pedestal, and that doesn't last very long. Um, but I've noticed when I treat everybody the exact same, I have better interactions with everybody, and then there's no hidden agenda. There's no um, there's no expectations when you just treat everyone the same, and then you end up attracting the right people into your life because the right people for you will be drawn to you because of who you are. And if you're giving everyone love, then not only are you making the world a better place, but you're taking so much stress out of the equation. And you got to, of course, first love yourself. If you don't love yourself, it's hard to love others. But yeah, it doesn't matter if, I got friends that are billionaires. I got friends that are homeless, and I treat them all the exact same and show them the same compassion, the same love. Everyone on this earth deserves completely limitless, unconditional love. And if we can offer that to everyone we meet, I think, again, you're going to have just amazing experiences. And again, that's something scary because you have to be vulnerable in order to do that. But I think it's crucial for long-term success and peace.
It kind of keeps it simple for how many narratives you have to keep track of.
That's very true as well. That's yes. That used to be a tricky thing, but yes, it's nice being able to be confident in who you are and how you operate, and it just the authenticity comes through when you speak and when you hang out with people and when you introduce people, and if you're able to do that without filters, it's so beautiful. It's so fun. So, and spirituality, that was the one that hit me a little different. I was a little bit surprised by that. I'm definitely a person that believes in higher purpose and the universe being very large. And I know that I've known from a very young age that I have a higher purpose, that I'm supposed to be friends with lots of people, influence the world in all sorts of different ways. Uh, since I was a preteen, I knew I would be on stage talking to thousands of people. And it's been fun really fulfilling that purpose lately, and just seeing the excitement on people's faces and the people coming up to me after the events and just being like, thank you. And I'm like, it's really cool. But I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I'm just there for them. I'm not there for me. But it's really cool to see others feel inspired and feel hope and love, and then actually have some purpose and direction is always nice. I think that's something we can all struggle with from time to time. And so that's a little bit where I do see the spirituality. I think others may see me as spiritual more than I see myself as spiritual. But I do, try to pray every single morning, try to get on my knees and thank God and the universe for everything that has come my way and all the future things that are happening. It's absolutely amazing, all the opportunities that I'm blessed with every single day. It's wild. It's so fun, and I'm so grateful. Creativity is number 5, and I would say that's definitely something that I also didn't see in myself until recently. I didn't feel like I was a creative, and then people started pointing out, like, dude, you wrote a book, you created this whole entire system and framework. Like, how is that not creative? I was like, huh, I suppose that's true. Um, and just I've been in survival mode majority of my life. So you got to get real creative when you don't have any money in the bank. You got to get real creative when you're homeless, trying to figure out where you're going to sleep, where your next meal is coming from, where, how you're going to be warm tonight. And so I think it's benefited me so many ways. And it's interesting how, desperation breeds creativity. And on top of that, when you're thriving and you're in flow, you have even better creativity. So it's interesting how both sides of life, whether you're completely down or way up, can have fantastic benefits to your creativity. It's really cool. So that does kind of make sense the more I traveled down that path and exploring exactly my side of creativity.
Thanks for diving into your strengths. I think that's one of the ways in which we can practice some self love is to recognize the good that's already there. Even I think of that as no matter how bad society sees us or we see ourselves, it's like those strengths still exist. To me, that it's a source of hope. Another one that's struck me lately is when we exercise, our muscles release brain derived neurotropic factor. It crosses the blood brain barrier and builds connections between the neurons. Our muscles produce brain fertilizer, basically, is kind of a cool thing when we exercise. So it's the action that is the important thing. And I understand in your program that that is an emphasis as well. Tell us about Rule 355.
Yeah, so Rule 355 came to me in April of 2024. I was out at a restaurant on a date, and the server was phenomenal. So I was like, what are you doing here? Why are you a server at a restaurant? I see so much potential in you. And I don't know if that's a positive or fault about me. I see potential in everybody. And of course, I'm always trying to see how we can, help each other, pull each other's potential out of each other. So I was like, sit down with me. Let's write these goals out. And he sat down and I said, write down your top three goals. Like, if your life went perfectly in a year from now, what would that look like? And so he wrote that down. And then I was like, all right, now give me a 2 month goal. Something like you probably know is going to happen automatically, but if you write it down, maybe it'll happen a little faster. So you wrote down that, and then 6 month goals, something somewhere in between, that you've been working on and maybe been thinking about for the last couple of years, but you really haven't made any progress on it. So we wrote that down, and I said, okay, what are your top five priorities in life? Just in life, what are your top five priorities? So he wrote down his top five priorities, and then I was like, all right, all right, we always say that our priorities are this and our priorities are that, but do our daily actions actually prove that? So I said, let's do this. Let's write down 5 daily actions that correlate directly with our priorities. So whatever your number one priority is in life, what's something you can do every single day that will prove that that's your number one priority? And then went down sequentially with 2, 3, 4, 5. And I was like, so do you think it's possible that if our actions are proving our priorities, then we'll just automatically hit our goals? He was just like, whoa. I had never even done that for myself. I just came up with it right on the spot. And so I started doing this for other people and walking them through it. I didn't even have a name for it yet. And then I wasn't doing it for myself yet until this year. And then I was like, this is working really well for other people. Maybe I should try this for myself. And so I did it for myself. And then I saw a just immediate shift in my life. It, it was absolutely crazy. And then I was like, okay, I had goals of publishing my first book. A lot of people have been telling me I need to write a book after, all my social media activity, and I journal every day, and I publicly post my journals on my social media. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to put that as my 1 year goal. I'm going to publish a book in a year. I ended up publishing my first book in less than a month. But because it was the first thing that I saw every single day and it was at the top of my list, that's what was on my mind the most. And so I figured out a way to make that happen. Shout out to my publisher, Christy. So great. She's got all sorts of amazing books. Wilden Publishing is her company. And she really made that come to light and happen so fast. We ended up going to the International Impact Book Awards down in Phoenix, Arizona, a couple weeks ago, and that was an amazing experience. She won an award for her children's ASL book, Alice's Colorful New World. It teaches children's or teaches the world deaf history, and then it's the story of Alice who um, was deaf, and the whole story about how she came to learn sign language. It's a really, really amazing book. The illustrations are so cool. So she starts off in a gray world, and then as she learns sign language, her world gets more colorful. So yeah, that's a little bit about Rule 355. And now I coach entrepreneurs on how to activate their sales abilities through the use of Rule 355. How we can do that internal deep work and clear the pathway for success with loving who we see in the mirror. It's really hard to sell yourself, sell your business, be really productive if you don't absolutely love who you see in the mirror. So I've noticed with all my clients how much purpose, how much drive, how much energy they acquire in just the first week of working together, and the results that we're seeing are really, really fun. I've had 3 of my clients 8x their business in the first month of working with me, and just from creating their own system and process. It's not, and they're like, Grant, how is this possible? Everyone says I'm glowing. Everyone is like, what's different with you? What's going on? And I'm like, well, like, it's not me doing it, it's you. And so I just really empower others to live their fullest self and show them how they can really harness their potential, because we all have amazing potential inside of us. That is without question. It's how do we grab it and exercise it and put it into action every day. So that's what Rule 355 is all about. The you do a Rule 355 page once every 7 days. Every other day of the week is a guided journal. We do an intention or an affirmation at the beginning. Then there's gratitude practice, so 3 lines of gratitude. Then a free flow, so you just let whatever flow out of you. Just write for the rest of the page, and then at the very end we have goal progress. So we are so often so zoomed in on our life that we don't even see the progress that we're making. And so this gives us the opportunity to track some progress that we're making on our goals every day. And it might not be the goals that we have written down on our Rule 355, but somehow, some way in your life, every single day, you're making some progress on a goal. And so it gives us the opportunity to write that down and just kind of see exactly the progress we're making. The little steps add up. And so we're validating ourselves now, and we're recognizing ourselves, and we're giving ourselves a little bit of hope and recognition. And at the end of each page, you sign your name. So you're affirming yourself.
With the origin of that, the as I was hearing you describe it, it kind of reminded me with the priorities, maybe that might correlate with what we were talking about as values. Is that a fair comparison? Kind of different.
A little bit different. So
Okay.
our priorities are always shifting in life, depending on what we're experiencing, where our pain points are, what we're trying to focus on. So I think your values remain pretty steadfast. I believe priorities, though, they do shift. And I think values can, of course, change as well. I don't want to say that they'd never change, but
Yeah.
our priorities usually, if like I'm currently a single male that's never been married, don't have any kids. So family is not a huge priority for me right now. However, if I get married and have kids one day, family is going to be top of the priority list. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, if you're experiencing some financial pain, maybe figuring out new ways to create income is going to be a higher priority for you than it would be if those are going really, really well. So priorities are going to shift in life, and they could shift daily or weekly. So that's why it's important to reassess. And sometimes we want things to be a priority, but they're not. And so this gives us opportunity to create it into a priority. And what's a daily action to prove that it is actually a priority and not just something that we're talking about.
Okay. It feels maybe like goals are kind of the things that you're trying to bring into the world, and priorities would be things where you see that you need to respond to the world in a certain way. Is that, or I guess, how do you differentiate goals from priorities?
Yeah, goals are things that we're looking to achieve. So it's something that we see as possible, And we know we can do it if we have the right intention and the right direction. So once you write it down, that's the first step. Because if it's just in your brain and you're thinking about it and maybe you're talking about it a little bit, it's just that's not there's no real commitment there. So writing it down is the first step in goal getting. So I don't like the setting. I don't like goal setting. I like goal getting because goal
Mm,
getting is something that action people do. And goal setting is something like, set it, forget it. Meh. Goal getting is like, okay, I'm gonna get this goal. How do we do it? Let's take some action. And the whole the whole point of goal setting is to actually get your goals. But if we just call it goal getting, then we're already prompting action. So
mm.
um, priorities, and daily actions are what help us get to the goals.
So those would be like kind of uh those the priorities you see relating to the goals. Is that
Yes. Yep. Exactly. So if your
yeah.
goals, you know, are led into by your daily actions and your priorities, then you're so much more likely to achieve them. If your goals are completely abstract than your priorities and your daily actions, then nothing makes sense. So, but
Yeah.
like, there's been plenty of times in my life where I wanted to be a millionaire, but I was at the bar getting drunk every single night. Like, that's probably not going to happen if I'm not focused on the right things. So my priorities and my daily actions weren't lined up with my goals. So this gives us an opportunity to make sure that what we're saying and what we're doing and what we're striving for all line up.
Yeah. Gotcha. Would the priorities kind of reflect what is kind of a general shape of the pathway to the goal? Is that maybe a little bit, am I getting closer?
Um, I don't know. I guess maybe I haven't thought that deeply about it. It's pretty simple. It's really more just if you set your goals and then you look at your priorities in life and then you look at your daily actions, it's just a pathway. It's just an easy, simple process to get your goals faster.
Yeah. Maybe like, yeah, when I hear the two differentiated, I kind of feel like what are the responsibilities that I recognize within the priorities? But it doesn't sound like that's quite it. But I do like the goal getting. I do that. Yeah, that's a great way of framing that. That's beautiful.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
been really fun, and the results that we like everyone's been seeing, the reviews that have come back, it's astonishing. I'm just feel so blessed that God imprinted this on my brain and that it's come to light and that's helping just thousands of people already. And I can see it impacting the world and helping millions of people, if not billions. I'm really excited to see just how this grows.
Yeah, the way you've woven all these elements together is I can see I can envision the impact of it being all this put together at once and becoming a practice and being supported by someone who has the positivity to draw people draw people to it. That's I think extremely important to have the social dimension along the lines of positive change. And it sounds like you're building that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun. Every single day is a joy. I'm so excited to work with the people I work with. And the cool thing about Rule 355 is it works for anybody, in any situation, anywhere in the world. I sold my first international copy last week, so that was pretty exciting. And so it's cool to see it taken off all across the world, not just in my own backyard. And we got copies going out every day across the nation. And of course, in person, I'm usually selling a couple a day, just organically talking to people. And they're like, wow, how do I get a copy? I'm like, well, come over here.
And then in getting connected with your journey, what is are the social media modes that you're sharing all this through?
Yeah, I am definitely what you would call an influencer. So social media is where I do majority of my outreach. I do a lot of in-person events as well. I love in-person events.
Mhm.
I host a lot of them. for entrepreneurs specifically. But yeah, on social media, it's just Grant Stonebraker on everything. Facebook is where I do majority of my content. I've been a lot more active on Instagram lately. The LinkedIn profile is building as well. And yeah, it should be the same picture. It's me in a white polo, looking like I'm having a really deep thought and smiling. So you'll see it pretty quick there if you add me. I always suggest if you add me, reach out to me. I love interacting with everybody on social media. I love figuring out how we can work together. If you're an entrepreneur that's struggling with sales or direction and trying to figure out your next step, love to work with you in that capacity. I've got a few openings still for the remainder of 2025, and I'm offering a buy 1 month get 2 free special throughout November. So there's 10 days left of that, and do one-on-one coaching and group coaching. So depending on what your needs are, we have both of those. We're also doing a soberpreneurs retreat where we're going. People seem to be very curious about sobriety in the entrepreneur space, so we're just going to host a 4-day retreat in Winter Park, Colorado, January 14th through the 18th. We're leaving from Omaha. We're taking the train out to Winter Park, Colorado in the mountains. We've got a really neat Airbnb out there that we're staying at. It's 9 bedrooms, and there's either a bunk room available or a private room available, depending on what your needs are there. 2 days, we're going to ski if you want to ski. Otherwise, we've got other activities for those who don't want to ski. But we've got an amazing program. Liz Onsel out of Chicago is bringing her Self-Ally program into this one. So we're going to teach a lot of connecting, a lot of yoga and meditation, and just really figuring out how we can build community in a sober environment and really just connect on a deeper level with all sorts of other entrepreneurs. And yeah, that's all on socials as well. So love to connect with you guys and learn more about you and what you got going on, and hopefully we'll see you in an event. I love connecting in person. That's my number one thing I like to do is hang out with people in person, get to know each other, see how we can help build this world and make it a better place.
Yeah, that's definitely kind of a cool intersection there in what you're describing. As how far out in terms of what you would like to be doing going forward? How would you describe the vision? What do you want the future to look like? What kind of world do you really want?
I want everything that this world has to offer. I think everyone deserves that. I think everyone should do what they can to help themselves first and then impact the world. And that's something that you got to do every single day that never stops. So I foresee building skyscrapers and flying around the world on private jets and hosting yacht parties, and all with the mindset of loving each other equally. So like I want to be able to provide those opportunities for, kids that maybe grew up in poor situations that didn't have a chance, and just be like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Let's go out on the yacht, with their friends and see how you can inspire just anybody. I really I want to reactivate my nonprofit a little bit more. And my goal is to purchase an RV and go around to all the homeless camps and get them groomed up, give them a haircut, give them a shower, and take headshots so we can start building their social media profiles and maybe get them job opportunities and make them just feel beautiful and like a human again. And yeah, just any way we can somehow just make the world a better place every single day by just doing the right next thing.
That's a good focus. I think I hear right action is the key to good living.
Yes. Yeah. And good association is a big part of that as well.
Grant, it's been a joy to have you on the podcast here.
Yeah, this has been so fun. I appreciate the thought of inviting me, and it was good to meet you in person, obviously. And I'm glad we were able to connect here. And I'm excited to see you at our next event.
I hope to be there.
Yeah, December 5th. is our Entrepreneur Summit. We got 16 tickets left. VIP tickets include dinner with the speakers afterwards. We have 3 national speakers coming in for this event, 2 local. It's gonna be really cool. You're gonna learn a lot about tools and tricks to make 2026 your best year yet.
I can envision it.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Nick. I really appreciate your time, and I'm excited to connect him further.
All right. Yeah, I'd say we have a podcast here.
Okay, sweet. I appreciate you,
Alrighty.
Nick. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. It was fun.
Yeah. All right. See you soon.